We've got news on Tiana's Bayou Adventure, what's happening for Halloween time this year, Churro Day, but first, let's talk about Oogie Boogie Bash. We get asked pretty much weekly, when are Oogie Boogie tickets going to go on sale? And we do finally now have an official word from Disney. As part of their Halloween time update, Disney confirmed that Oogie Boogie tickets will go on sale starting June 27th for Magic Key holders and June 29th for the general public. As usual, no earlier than 9 a.m. We'll see you there the morning of June 27th and be part of that hashtag more than an hour club, which invariably happens every single time Disney tries to sell really any kind of ticket. Now, Oogie Boogie Bash is just part of the Halloween time season, which begins, as usual, September 1st, with the first Oogie Boogie party being September 5th. And then they'll have 2 or 3 parties per week after that. Prices range from $134 for some of the earlier nights, and then up to $180 for those last 2 nights, including actual Halloween night. Sounds like the party will essentially be the same as we've become accustomed to for previous Oogie Boogie events. We'll see treat trails and characters, though they did give us a minor hint that there will be some new characters, and this is something that they also do every year. They bring in new topical characters, and some other ones might go out. Last year, for example, we saw Madame Mim. I think the year before that, it was Sid from Toy Story. So we should be staying tuned to Disney and to Fresh Baked to find out what characters they are going to reveal. That's going to be fun. It's always fun. And of course, the frightfully fun parade will return, which is fantastic. I love that parade. Maybe their best one going right now. Led, of course, by the Headless Horseman. And then there's Mickey's Trick and Treat Show at the Disney Junior Stage. And our favorite Oogie Boogie event, Villains Grove. Spooky, beautiful, creative. That's an amazing show. I know it's not for everybody because it's kind of low key, but for me, I love that. I love the acoustic quality to that event, the low key nature of it. The fact that they're not trying to hit you over the head with anything. It's subtle. It's more about sights and sounds. It's beautiful. I love Villains Grove. And then stay tuned for a foodie guide. There's going to be a foodie guide for Oogie Boogie Bash and actually for the rest of the Halloween time season. Disney hasn't released that yet, so stay tuned. We'll be getting that soon, I'm sure. As mentioned, the Halloween time season begins on September 1st. We're almost here. The beginning of summer actually marks the beginning of us talking about the beginning of the Halloween season. September 1st at the Disneyland Resort. And that's where we get to look forward to the next, the new gingerbread house at the Haunted Mansion Holiday. Halloween Screams fireworks, which again might be the best show we see all year. Love Halloween Screams. Over in Cars Land, we'll see the usual Halloween makeover. Mater's and Luigi's both get new skins, and it sounds like this year, for the first time, Guido will have a ghoulish costume. Carstoon. We don't have a picture yet, so we're just going to have to take their word for it, but this is the first, because we've been waiting, actually, for them to do any kind of costume thing at any of the other attractions. They do the one little costume for one of the tractors out in front of Mater's, but there haven't been any costumes for Luigi's or for Radiator Springs. I feel like they should do some kind of skin on Radiator Springs racers eventually, right? Guardians of the Galaxy will once again transform into Monsters After Dark when the sun sets. Once more, Monsters might be the best iteration of Tower of Terror. And that could be one of the reasons why, we love the Halloween season here so much, here personally at least. Possibly the best parade. Possibly the best fireworks show, possibly the best iteration of Tower of Terror, all in one season. Halloween season, it's great. I love it. Great color, great fun, great food. Love Halloween season. I can't wait. Can't get here soon enough. Meanwhile, speaking of the awesome Halloween Screams fireworks show, that is probably the reason why Disney has announced the end date for Wondrous Journeys. Wondrous Journeys is the special fireworks show that they created just for the Disney 100th celebration. Wondrous Journeys is going to end on August 31st. That'll be the last date for Wondrous Journeys, August 31st, the day before the beginning of the Halloween season. And it'll probably stay closed through the Christmas season as well. Obviously, the Christmas season has its own fireworks show, Believe. So even though the Disney 100 celebration, is a year-long celebration, and everything else is going to go through the end of the year, the fireworks specifically will not. Shame too, because I really love Wondrous Journeys. I wouldn't mind if they kept it around. It wouldn't bother me. I think it's a great fireworks show, but obviously you can't have Halloween season, I guess, without Halloween Screams. and you can't have the Christmas season without belief. So now this doesn't necessarily mean the end for Wondrous Journeys. It could be that it comes back after the Christmas season, sometime in February. I would ask you, come February, would you rather see Wondrous Journeys come back, see that show for a little while longer, or would you rather see a classic Disneyland fireworks show come back like Dreams? Let us know. Meanwhile, speaking of shows and updates to shows, there will be a new pre-show to World of Color 1. Elemental is coming soon to theaters, and Disney is adding a pre-show to celebrate the opening of Pixar's latest film. Per Disney, it'll be a 2-minute show bringing together land, air, water, and fire elements. Fire. Interesting. I haven't seen World of Color 1 in a while. I can't remember if they have fire in that show. Have they brought back fire yet to World of Color? Or, because you can't do a show about elements that include fire and not put fire in the actual pre-show, right? So the pre-show, it's going to be a 2-minute show prior to the formal World of Color 1 event. It'll be premiering soon, and I would expect it to run at least up until the premiere date for Elemental, which I believe is June 16th, maybe for a little bit after that, and then it'll just go back to regular World of Color after that. Okay, moving on. Here's something fun. National Churro Day is on June 6th, and Disney is celebrating. A, that's awesome. I love churros. But 2, even better, is that means we're going to get a variety of fun churros to try out to help celebrate the occasion. And even better, D, it's not just for the day. It's not just for June 6th. It's going to be for almost the entire summer. The festive churros will be available all the way through August 31st. Among those variety of churros, the fruity cereal churro at the Frontierland cart, the powdered sugar churro at the Small World cart, the s'mores churro at Goofy Sky School, PB&J churro in Hollywoodland. That's interesting. Here's a fun one. The Cosmic Disturbance churro at Terran Treats and Avengers Campus. Those are Skittles. Now, I've never had a churro with Skittles on it. I'm damn willing to try. So stay tuned to Fresh Baked, because I'm sure we're going to be dedicating an entire video to trying as many of these as possible, all in one sitting. They're going to be available all summer, but I'm going to try as many of these as possible, probably in one sitting. See if I get sick. Probably will, but it's going to be worth the effort. And finally, as I'm sure you're all well aware now, Splash Mountain has closed. It is behind construction walls as they prepare to transform Splash Mountain into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Now, I know you're probably all like me, and you really hope Disney goes for it. They go all the way. They try to make this the best possible attraction that they can. And I feel like they're wasting little time in letting guests know that is, in fact, what they're trying to do based on this recent update, where they're letting guests know that new music is being created for the attraction. Musicians PJ Morton and Terrence Blanchard are collaborating with Disney to create the music guests hear on the ride and in the queue. What Disney is describing as a lyrical love letter to the region. Songs are going to be arranged by the pair who, these two have won a combined 11 Grammys between them. Blanchard is actually the man behind the trumpet, behind Louie the alligator in the film Princess and the Frog. So you're in good hands, you're in familiar hands in that case. Now, there will be songs from the film, of course, but it sounds like they're creating a lot of new music just for this attraction. And that's great news in my opinion, because in so doing, I think that they're giving guests the opportunity, the chance to connect with Tiana's Bayou Adventure through the music specifically created for this attraction, and connect in a way that may not have been possible otherwise. For example, when I asked fans what they're going to miss most about Splash Mountain, one of the more common responses that I heard was the music. And I believe that that's due in large part to the fact that it's music that you hear on that attraction that you can't hear anywhere else. It's unique. It is for that attraction only. In order to hear that music, you have to go to Disneyland. You have to get on Splash Mountain in order to hear that music. Sure, it's fun and whimsical, but really it's about creating a relationship, a mental connection between the attraction and the music itself. It makes you feel you're at home when you're doing that thing. It makes you feel like you're at Disneyland. I know it's from a film. The music is from a film, but it's not one that's in active distribution. You can't hear it just generally. You have to go to Disneyland. You have to go to Splash Mountain in order to hear that music. So I'm very glad to hear this. I'm very glad that Disney is going to. There's a possibility. There's a chance that we are going to be able to have, hopefully, a similar kind of connection, and that's going to be done through custom original music that you'll be able to hear only when you go to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Music is a huge part of the Disneyland experience, more so than you might initially think. Imagine going through Pirates of the Caribbean without music. I mean, I can't. You can't imagine it. It's not possible. But just imagine doing that. This is why, part of the reason why attractions like Pirates, Haunted Mansion is another one. Custom music, original music that you can only hear there. Space Mountain, the music you can only hear at Space Mountain. This is part of the reason why we feel a certain way about these attractions. So while you hear this news that they're creating music for Bayou Adventure, you're like, okay, that's great. Good for them. I'm glad to hear that. It's a huge, huge deal, in my opinion. And I'm very glad to hear that that they're getting this original curated music for the attraction, both, on the ride and in the queue as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they pull this off. And it's really, it's kind of vital, actually, to Disney being able to make this work, the Tiana's transformation work. It's a very controversial thing that they've done, and I tell you what, they can't get it wrong. They can't get it wrong. They have to make this. They have to make the attraction better. It has to be better in order, better than Splash Mountain in order for them to succeed in this endeavor. And the first way you do it is through the music. And if memory serves, by the way, it's music that is going to bring the guest into the story itself. When you're on Bayou Adventure, that's part of the story. They showed us this concept art last year, I believe, where these critters are new to the scene. We're just going to get to in a second, but some of that this is where you're going to hear some of that new music. And if memory serves, this is going to be Zydeco music, which is great. I love Zydeco music. It's fun and it's wonderful. So I'm looking forward to that. Meanwhile, in this same update, they have given us our first look at another new character that's going to appear in the attraction. Prince Naveen's brother, Ralphie, who obviously is going to be having a scene with him playing the drums. Meanwhile, it's being reported that there will be, in addition to Ralphie, or he's part of Ralphie, is 17 new animatronics, being brought in addition to the existing animatronics that are already there. 17 new animatronics, not old animatronics with new skins on them, new costumes, although I do assume that there will be some animatronics saved, reused from Splash Mountain, which is, that's tradition, that's Disney's way. They've always done that. Matter of fact, the animatronics that are in Splash Mountain today, some of those were brought over from America Sings, which is, part of history that we all know about. So stay tuned to Fresh Baked for more on this, as I'm sure more information will be revealed. For example, they haven't said anything yet, there was nothing in this update, nor have I heard anything in the past, but it is my understanding that they will be adding some projections, some screens into the attraction. Now, before you freak out, because I know for some that's a divisive topic. I believe this is going to be in the same tradition as the screens that we've seen, let's say at Alice in Wonderland, or at Snow White, or even Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. They won't be the focus. It's not going to be Star Tours type screens. There will be depth still. There will be practical sets, and then the screens exist behind it, to give it depth, which is really terrific if you ask me. Snow White is probably the best example, that the final scene in Snow White, when you come around the corner and you see the trees and everything, and then there's snow in the background on the screen. All those trees and lights give it tremendous effect. I think it's beautiful, actually. It's the best so far that I've seen mixture in a close environment like that. Runaway Railway is great too, but that's a much bigger set and it's easier to disguise the screens. But in a close environment like that, Snow White is wonderfully done. So stay tuned to Fresh Baked. We'll be following this very, very closely, from the first construction walls to every scrim and every scaffold that comes up along the way. It's going to be an 18-month or more adventure. We're gonna show you guys the way every step of the way. I can't wait. Until then, stay safe, everybody. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.